Atis Paul has responded to Testa's podcast in a lengthy Instagram carousel post. I'm really sick with tonsillitis right now, so I won't go through all of it, but I will point out some things that stood out to me. In the first screenshot, he accuses Michaela of using our toxic relationship as a weapon to destroy Anna and assume her life. As Testa pointed out in her podcast, she was already an established influencer when she came into the Pauls' life. So I feel like it was really the Pauls who were benefiting off their relationship with Michaela rather than the other way round. He goes on to say that in 2025, we can agree that my mistakes are mine. Just because Anna is the well-known one, that doesn't excuse blaming another woman for the mistakes of her brother. Interesting, because Anna was really the face of the controversy that Atis experienced with his ex, Alice. So he's happy to throw her under the bus when it benefits him. But when Michaela calls out Anna Paul for being an enabler of abuse, that's not okay. Moving on. He then goes on to say that she's exploiting their toxic relationship where they were both equally at blame in her mission to become Australia's most followed influencer. I personally don't think that that is Michaela's mission in exposing a convicted rapist. We've got to remember that this man is a convicted rapist. Not only that, it's not just Michaela's testimony, it's Alice's. We've also got Sarah's and so many other people coming out defending Michaela. This is about a victim sharing her story and exposing behaviour that's unacceptable. He then goes on to say that he never engaged in intercourse with Mick while she slept, that he never ran at her with a knife or touched her in anger. Michaela has provided receipts of Anna Paul and her discussing this situation, so I believe that the knife situation did happen. And when it comes to the allegations of rape, let's not forget this man's prior conviction. He then goes on to talk about the BBL surgery, what sort of fluids come out of your body, blah, blah, blah. He then outlines Michaela's role and his role when it came to managing her socials. He then shows graphs of how Michaela's posts performed better when he was managing that. Next, he says, she told you that I definitely didn't use any of the money to fund promos. I was robbing her. I wouldn't bother posting everyone, but here are just a few of the hundreds of promos I paid for. Something I noticed about all of these screenshots is that none of them are legible. So who actually knows what these screenshots are of? More screenshots again, can't read any of them. He posts some promos. He then posts screenshots of Mick trying to get him to manage her account again. But as we know, it's very hard to leave an abuser. So it's unsurprising to me that Mick went running back to him on multiple occasions. He then said that she wanted to start a bikini range, and so he arranged for some suppliers in Albania to send them samples. And he posts all of the payments that he made. Notice it's like $141 US, $362 US, $90 US. I mean, in the scheme of what these people were making, which was upwards of $50,000 a month sometimes, this is pocket change for them. So maybe he did pay for these, but like, okay. Here he says that Mick would catfish people in order to get secrets out of them, and that she threatened to sue the Outspoken podcast, something that they weren't aware of. These are screenshots of Mick catfishing people to trying to get information out of them. Not a good look, but it feels like everyone in this situation uses dirty tactics to enhance their profile, gain followers. Mick has admitted to buying bots herself. She's also said that Atis Paul bought bots for Alice to discredit her. It seems like a lot of weird stuff went down. Atis then claims that Mick posted content of him without his consent, and after that he started posting with her consensually. If this is true, that is obviously a big violation of privacy, so I'm interested to hear Michaela's response to this. These are screenshots of Mick harassing him for months. Again, I'm sure that the relationship was toxic. I'm sure that you both tried to get each other back and harassed each other at different times. These screenshots, again, do not affect my overall opinion of the situation. Here are screenshots of Mick using Atis's name for views. As we all know, Mick would constantly post about their relationship after they'd broken up, being like, I'm still in love with my ex, blah, blah, blah. A lot of these big influencers embellish stories to get views. And as much as this might be a little bit cringe, as if the Pauls haven't done this themselves. He then claims that he never stole her crypto and that Michaela publicly apologized for it, but removed the video later and kept up the video where she accused him of doing this. This is just another question mark. Who actually knows what went down in this situation? There's going to be some things that can't be verified one way or another. He then says that Michaela stalked him and his family, and that she offered $30,000 to anyone that provided his whereabouts after he turned off his location sharing settings. And as this user says, if the roles were reversed, this would be taken very seriously. More screenshots of Michaela being jealous. Again, I'm sure that they were both jealous and toxic in their own ways. He then shares a bunch of Michaela's TikTok videos where she admits to doing a lot of the things that he's accused her of. Michaela has admitted to struggling with mental health issues, which were only amplified by her relationship with Atis. He then says that they're both equally to blame for the toxicity in their relationship, but Michaela has exaggerated the whole story, made up lies, etc. I feel like this is all just a bid to make Michaela seem crazy. She's admitted to being unstable at this point in time, and none of the screenshots or the receipts that he provided are really that damning, whereas Michaela's story details full-blown abuse, and victims of abuse can act erratically because you're gaslit into thinking that you're crazy, so you start acting crazy. I also think it's interesting that Atis addressed all of this in a written carousel post rather than talking to the camera. Michaela's video upload was very authentic. There was very real emotion. And she's not the only victim in this story who has experienced alarmingly similar behavior from Atis Paul. So in conclusion, I still stand with Michaela Testa. Sorry, Atis.